You share an idea in a meeting. It is a good idea. Everyone nods. Then 2 minutes later, your colleague says the exact same thing, slightly reworded, and suddenly it is their idea. Leadership loves it. They get the credit. And you sit there wondering if you are losing your mind. Here's the thing. A 2024 study published in Scientific Reports put participants in virtual reality meetings and had them watch someone steal another person's idea in real time. The result? Only 30% of observers correctly identified who came up with the idea first. That is no better than random chance. The researchers called it social inattentional blindness. When someone steals your idea in a meeting, most people in the room literally do not notice. They cannot tell who said it first. And that is why meeting sabotage works. That is why the people who do it keep doing it, because they almost never get caught. This is office warfare, where careers are won, lost, and sometimes sabotaged, and nobody tells you the rules until it is too late. I'm going to show you exactly how meeting sabotage works, the 5 types you will encounter, why most people never see it coming, even when it happens right in front of them, and what you can do to protect yourself, reclaim your credit, and neutralize each one. Once you understand these patterns, you will never sit in a meeting the same way again. Here is what nobody tells you about meetings. They are not about collaboration. They are not about sharing ideas or making decisions together. Meetings are performances. They are arenas where power is established, alliances are tested, and careers are quietly advanced or destroyed. The average professional spends 31 hours every month in meetings. That is nearly a full work week. And 71% of senior managers admit those meetings are unproductive. So what are they actually for? They are for politics. They are for positioning. They are where the real game of corporate survival plays out. A survey by The Economist found that 47% of workers say their bosses have taken credit for their ideas. Over 80% say it has happened at least once. And yet, almost nobody talks about it openly. Because calling it out makes you look petty. Complaining makes you look weak. So the saboteurs keep winning and everyone pretends the system is fair. Stanford professor Jeffrey Pfeffer studied organizational power for decades. He found that in one survey of over 400 managers, 93% agreed that workplace politics was common to most organizations. 89% agreed that successful executives must be good politicians. Not might be. Must be. The research is clear. Meeting rooms are not meritocracies. They are battlefields. And if you do not know the tactics, you are already losing. Let me walk you through the 5 types of meeting sabotage and exactly how to counter each one. Type 1 is credit theft. This is the most common and the most infuriating. Someone takes your idea and presents it as their own. Sometimes they do it in the same meeting. Sometimes they wait until the next one. The sophisticated version involves absorbing your concept, adding minor tweaks, then presenting it as original thinking. Research from the University of Delaware confirms that men are given more credit than women even when saying the exact same words. A Stanford study found that male executives who speak more are rated 10% more competent, while female executives who speak more are considered 14% less competent. The game is rigged before you even open your mouth. Here is how you counter it. When someone restates your idea, reclaim it immediately. Executive coach Jamie Lee recommends saying something like, "I'm glad you see the value of my ideas. I appreciate your vote of confidence. This acknowledges what happened while publicly reasserting ownership. You are not being petty. You are creating a record." The Obama White House developed a tactic called amplification. When a woman made a key point, other women would repeat it, giving credit to its author. They would say, "As Sarah mentioned, this approach makes sense because of the data she cited." President Obama noticed and started calling more on women and junior aides. Build allies who will do this for you. Before the meeting, share your ideas via email. After the meeting, send a follow-up. Just to recap, I'm excited to develop the concept we discussed where I suggested the new approach. Copy other leaders so your contributions are visible beyond the room. Create a paper trail they cannot erase. Type 2 is strategic interruption. This is not about enthusiasm or excitement. Research shows men interrupt women 33% more often than they interrupt other men. A landmark study found that in same-sex conversations, there were 7 total interruptions. In male-female conversations, there were 48 and 96% were by men. Organizational psychologist Aaron Reeves observed 41 hours of live meetings. Men interrupted twice as often as women. 75% of male interruptions targeted women specifically. Serial interruption is a power play designed to establish dominance. Here is how you counter it. Before you make an important point, set the frame. Say something like, "There are several pieces to this, so please bear with me. I want to share the full picture before we discuss." This establishes that interruption violates the social contract you just created. When someone cuts you off, do not stop talking. Address them directly. "Hold on, I would like to finish." Then continue without yielding the floor. Use physical signals. Hand up, palm facing them. Do not shrink. If someone is a serial interrupter, have a private conversation. Say, I've noticed in meetings you sometimes cut me off before I can finish my point. I am assuming that is not your intention. Is that something you have noticed? This confronts the behavior while giving them an exit ramp. Most people will correct course. The ones who do not have now been warned. Type 3 is information warfare. This one operates in the shadows. You only realize you have been targeted after the damage is done. The saboteur forgets to copy you on crucial emails. They do not share meeting time changes. They keep you out of the loop about opportunities. By the time you find out, the window has closed. The weaponized version is pre-meeting lobbying. Researcher Rosalind Chow explains that when decisions are made before the meeting even starts, the group walks in predisposed to a preference. This puts social pressure on anyone who disagrees. You think you are walking into a discussion? You are actually walking into a verdict. Here is how you counter it. Build redundant information networks. Cultivate relationships across departments so you have multiple sources for critical updates. If someone forgot to include you, address it directly. I noticed I was not in the meeting about the project. Given my role, I would like to be looped in going forward. For any meeting without a clear agenda, demand one. Ask, what is the purpose of this meeting so I can prepare properly? If they cannot tell you, that is your warning sign. Check agendas for vague topics that might involve your area. Ask for clarification in writing. Bring relevant data. Never walk into a room unprepared when someone else knows the real agenda. Type 4 is the ambush attack. The saboteur springs unexpected criticism, surprise agenda items, or attacks without warning. They are prepared. You are blindsided. In 1985, Steve Jobs attempted a boardroom coup against CEO John Sculley while Sculley was traveling to China. Jobs recruited allies, but one of them betrayed him to Sculley, who orchestrated a counter-ambush at the May 24th board meeting. Jobs was forced to defend himself completely unprepared. He confronted Sculley directly, but the board sided with the CEO. Jobs was stripped of operational power and later resigned. Ambush meetings are designed to put you on the defensive before you can think clearly. The saboteur asks weaponized questions. Are you sure that is right? They bring up past mistakes to undermine current credibility. They imply incompetence without saying it directly. Here is how you counter it. Name the tactic explicitly. Say, no one informed me prior to this meeting that this would be the topic of discussion. I was not prepared for this conversation. Can we schedule a follow-up so I can give this the attention it deserves? This acknowledges the ambush while refusing to engage on their terms. When blindsided, ask questions back. Can you help me understand what led to that conclusion? Questions release the pressure valve while putting the attacker in the hot seat. Never defend when you can redirect. Always send a follow-up email immediately after any meeting that felt off. Summarize main points and action items. This creates a record and forces clarity about what actually happened. Type 5 is strategic silence in coalition warfare. This is sabotage by omission. When your supposed ally stays quiet while you are being attacked, their silence speaks louder than words. The saboteur deliberately withholds support when a colleague needs backing. They stay silent when someone is being undermined. They fail to validate ideas that deserve support. Often this is coordinated. Alliances form against specific individuals, with members agreeing to provide non-support at critical moments. Leadership research reveals only 19% of top executives strongly agree that when decisions are made, everyone is fully committed with no backstabbing or passive aggressiveness. Only 14% believe their colleagues' words can be counted on to become action. The CIA actually wrote a manual on this. Their 1944 Simple Sabotage Field Manual, now declassified, includes instructions like refer back to matters decided at the last meeting and attempt to reopen the question, bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible, and make speeches, talk as frequently as possible and at great length. A Harvard Business School professor found that executives studying this manual often realize they are inadvertently doing these same things in their own companies. Here is how you counter it. Get to key opinion leaders before your saboteur does. Seal off their avenues for building alliances against you. Provide your own version of the narrative first. Build mutual protection agreements with trusted colleagues. When an ally makes a good point, repeat it with attribution. As Michael just mentioned, the data supports this direction. This creates visible alliance while making the idea harder to ignore. If sabotage is happening to you, assume it is happening to others. Find them. Build a coalition of your own. A unified front deters saboteurs because they rely on isolation. Let me tell you how this plays out in the real world. A senior director at a Fortune 500 company had just delivered the most successful product launch in a decade. She expected praise. Instead, she was called into a meeting where leadership told her the promotion she had worked 3 years toward was going to someone else, someone who had been there half as long. What happened? Her colleague had been having meetings before the meeting. He had been building relationships with the decision-makers while she focused on results. He volunteered for visible projects while she handled the difficult work behind the scenes. When the time came, everyone in the room already knew who they wanted. She never had a chance. The game was over before she knew it was being played. Now look at your own workplace. Think about your last 5 meetings. Did someone repeat your idea and get credit for it? Did someone interrupt you at a critical moment? Were you left out of a conversation you should have been part of? Did someone spring criticism on you without warning? Did an ally stay silent when you needed support? If you are experiencing any of these patterns, you're not paranoid. You are paying attention. And now you know what to call it. Here is what to do about it. First, document everything. Keep detailed notes with dates, times, and names. Send follow-up emails after every meeting. Create a paper trail that protects you. Second, build allies. Find people who will amplify your ideas and have your back. Reciprocate for them. Meeting Sabotage thrives on isolation. Alliances break it. Third, address it directly. When someone steals credit, reclaim it in the moment. When someone interrupts, do not yield. When someone ambushes you, name it and reschedule. Most saboteurs rely on your silence. Your voice is your weapon. Fourth, watch for patterns. If something happens once, note it. If it happens twice, prepare. If it happens 3 times, confront it directly. As Simon Sinek advises, if that continues, it is going to destroy morale. Make the cost of sabotage higher than the benefit. Meeting Sabotage persists because it works and because most people never see it coming. The research proves it. Observers cannot tell who came up with an idea first. Credit thieves look like contributors. Interrupters look like engaged participants. Ambushers look like concerned colleagues. The game is designed to be invisible, but now you see it. And once you see how the game works, you cannot unsee it. The tactics do not change. The century does not matter. Power has always worked this way. What changes is whether you understand the rules. Now you know the playbook. What you do with it is up to you. If this shifted how you see your workplace, hit subscribe. The game has more levels, and I will show you each one.